So I've been covering SoFi stock for the past few months, and I've shared a lot of information about the stock and the company. But there are few pieces of information that makes it to the headlines and everyone talks about them. But then there are few hidden pieces of information which holds equal weight, or in my opinion more, but no one talks about them because they are not very sensational. Well, that kind of information is very exciting for me personally, and it may be exciting for some of you as well. Let's start this video by sharing few major things about SoFi that flew under the radar, and then we will dive into some interesting news about how big banks and funds are treating SoFi. Let's start with some housekeeping items. So on your screen, I'm going to actually bring the SoFi chart up. And as you can see, the RSI of SoFi rose above 70, indicating shares may be overbought. And in addition to that, for all the chart junkies, the stock closed above its upper Bollinger Band, a further indication that it may be overbought. Right here, as you can see, this is Bollinger Band that I have put on the chart. And as you can see, it's on the upper end of Bollinger Band. And also the RSI is also looking at as an overbought category. And a little history. Since last year, the stock has crossed above this level 6 times and fell an average of 15% in the next 20 days. Again, history not always repeats itself. I feel with the pending bank charter news and also the earnings coming up, next few days will be very interesting. But as you can see, anytime it has touched the Bollinger Band, it has dropped. It has touched the Bollinger Band, it has dropped. And as you can see in the past too, it has touched, it has dropped. So it has happened 6 times in last 1 year. Now, another piece of information which flew really under the radar was that one of the analysts who had a buy rating before now has a hold rating. Take a look here. This was the buy rating from Morningstar right here, as you can see, buy, and then as early as on October 11th, they changed the rating and they downgraded the stock and put it as a hold. So from buy, it came as a hold. And this is because the stock got closer to their strike price or their target price of 2050, and that's why they changed the rating to hold. Watch, they will come out and give it an updated price target and a buy rating again in the next few days or months. Number 3. A bunch of institutions came and increased their position in SoFi. As you can see over here, on September 30th, all these institutions came and they actually increased their position in SoFi. There are in total about 6 institutions that increased the position, and there are about 2 institutions that decreased their position. So that's all happened on September 30th. Now, this brings to my next point, and a very exciting point. So recently, a bond rating agency released a report on SoFi bonds. The report was pretty exciting, but what was more exciting was that how big banks are taking these reports and how they are seeing SoFi in the long term. So the report basically said right here, as you can see, this is a bond rating agency. So they have an enhanced credit rating for all notes classes in their consumer loan program. So class A, B, C, D, as you can see, A, B, C, and D, all the notes in that class, they have actually enhanced the credit rating. Now, one more thing that I noticed was this line right here, which I have underlined. So what they are saying is that 78.8% of SoFi's borrower are homeowners. Right here, by current principal balance, 78% or 78.8% of borrowers in SCLP 2021, that was the bond that they reviewed, are homeowners. Now, which in turn means less default rate, as that is the highest risk these companies have. So this is really exciting to see that how SoFi is mitigating the risk. And just after a few days later of this report, I received an alert from E-Trade. Now, this is the bank I use for trading. And they mentioned that my margin requirement on SoFi right here has been increased or changed from 100% to 30%. This is a very bullish sign, and this immediately gives me more buying power against my SoFi share. Take a look here. The maintenance requirement from your holding below has decreased. That means I have to maintain less capital to borrow more. This may increase your available purchasing power. Old requirement was 100% that I have to maintain. Now I only have to maintain 30%, giving me 70% more borrowing power, which is really, really cool. I also have a total investment of about $250,000 in SoFi stock alone, not counting the options. So that means now I can borrow more money on that $250K that I was able to before. This means that the bank is super bullish and they know that their investment is protected. Great news for the company. Now, this point brings me to the last piece of news, which has been really flying under the radar. Take a look at this chart right here. Now, I have mentioned in my past videos that there are a lot of ETFs that hold SoFi. But looks like the interest jumped high towards the end of September and early October. We saw a spike right here around September 19th, and all of a sudden the ETFs came in the play, and now they hold at the maximum level for the year. This is an all-time high, which is really, really exciting. That means more and more ETFs are holding SoFi. And then this particular ETF right here got my attention. Now, if you have been in the market for a while, you might be familiar with the term hedge or hedging against, which in simple terms means protecting your portfolio if the market turns. And there are many ways you can do it. You can buy puts, or you can play wicks to hedge against your portfolio on a downturn. And you can also do some complex things or to hedge against up or down. And I'm sure all of us have heard about inflation, deflation, Fed tapering, and so many other things, all suggesting that stock market can see a downturn in the next few months. While I believe that we are going to finish the year strong, but nonetheless, the thought does cross your mind that how should you protect your gains? So this particular money manager has created an ETF which she's calling as Vanguard of Convexity. And what it means is that she's trying to create a fund that protects against uncertain market condition, and she's placing SoFi as one of the equity in the fund. So some of them are using SoFi as a hedge, which is really exciting because this company is fairly new, and for the money managers to come out and use this as a hedge, that means they see a long-term potential in the stock. I don't quite agree with some of her other holdings right here, Robinhood, which has really gotten bad press lately, and also Coinbase, which has also gotten bad press. But Coinbase is a solid company for the long term because crypto is not going anywhere. Then she has Charles Schwab, then she has Market Access, those are all fine. But Robinhood is the only red flag kind of a company that I see in the fund. But I was happy to see SoFi as one of the holdings. So now, I have mentioned this before, that SoFi as a company is run by some very smart people, and we'll see in the coming months on how they execute the massive expansion that is coming for this company. It's the future of the company that excites me and not the present, as some has commented in my past SoFi videos that why SoFi is a better choice than so many other fintechs. I see many more catalysts for this company, and some of them are known to us and some of them will come as a surprise. And one of the other catalysts that's coming up for SoFi is the bank charter. We all know that. Now in my next video, I'm breaking down the timeline for SoFi's bank charter because I feel we are going to see the bank charter very soon. Because in the documents, I recently saw that they have a 12-month period where they have to fund the bank, and also a 18-month period where they have to execute or make the bank operational. Otherwise, the conditional approval that they receive will expire. I'm going to make a detailed video on that explaining the timeline, because the timeline the conditional approval was approved. I feel we are very close to receiving the bank charter news. Now we have heard this before that bank charter news is coming. I've also mentioned in the video that we could see it very soon because the way the company was playing with their staff. But I feel now, looking at the deadline and looking at the timeline, we are really near the bank charter news. Now I really hope for all us investors that the bank charter news does not come with the earnings, because I feel they need to separate the two news for stock to make the right movement. But again, company is not a stock and stock is not a company. So we really don't know what's going on internally in company or in Anthony Noto's head. But I really wish and hope that they release the bank charter news as a separate event from the earnings. I'll link the first part of the 3 series video that I did over here. Watch from 30-second mark to see what makes this company a little bit different from others. That is it for today. I hope I was able to provide you some value, and if you enjoy the video, then hit the like button so we can reach out to more SoFi lovers, and subscribe so you do not miss out the future videos. An absolute pleasure to share all of this with you. Until next time, you all have a sparkling day.